Buddy Club, it is Pixie, and today's topic is a little bit of a heavier one, so I'm gonna start with a couple of content warnings, the main one being transphobia in the workplace, but I think this has just been a really important situation for me to use my platform, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. If you follow me on Twitter, you may be aware of what is going on, but I want to give you guys just a really good basic rundown for anyone who doesn't follow me on there. But this is unfortunately a story about some transphobic discrimination happening inside of Toei Animation. Toei Animation is a huge animation studio in Japan, and they produce, among many other anime, One Piece, and others, Precure, which is obviously my favorite thing. Trans rights are extremely important to me and something that I am always very willing and ready to yell about, so here I am to hopefully, maybe not yell right away, but let's give you guys a situation, explain what's going on and what we can do to help, where we go from here, and just what can we do as Westerners kind of looking in on this from so far away. How I found out about this firsthand, I was scrolling through Twitter. I'm very active in Precure Twitter, and I came across this article from Anime News Network, and I think it explains things pretty well, pretty flat out, so I'm just gonna read this article for you guys. This was posted on January 27th, 2021, and the headline is, Toei Animation refuses labor negotiations with LGBT union member. So I saw that on my Twitter feed and went, and I immediately clicked on the article, and I guess if this is your first time hearing about it, I'll give you the exact same experience that I got. So it says, union member who identifies as X-gender was accused of using false name in paperwork. Yahoo News reported last Wednesday that Toei Animation attempted to refuse labor negotiations with a union representing a former unit director, A-san, so they use like little alias names here, who claims to have been unfairly stripped of work. In the paperwork, Toei accuses the union member, B-san, who is handling the negotiations, of using a false name. B-san, who identifies as X-gender, neither male nor female, uses an alias that better reflects their gender identity. Toei's letter to the Precariat Union, I hope I'm saying that right, explicitly dead names B-san and accused them of majorly damaging the relationship of trust between Toei Animation and the labor union. B-san insisted that their alias should have no connection to the case at hand. In the first place, there are many married people who work under an alias, and the name I use for collective bargaining has nothing to do with the name on my family registry, they told Yahoo News. I think that they refuse to give me a seat at the discussion because they have no desire to resolve the dispute. They also emphasized their discomfort at being referred to by their dead name. For me, just looking at my family registry name is painful. To be on the receiving end of such a discriminating act by the company made me feel disappointment, sadness, and pain. The Precariat Union made contact with Toei 3 times for collective bargaining. The first 3 interactions were performed through online conferencing due to COVID-19. For the 4th meeting, they did not receive the online conference link. They just ghosted them on the Zoom. After phoning the studio beforehand, B-san went to the building to meet with the lawyer and the people handling the case directly. When they arrived, the lawyer allegedly spoke to them aggressively and used a security guard to chase them out. After this, the company continued text correspondence for some time without coming to an agreement before eventually sending the letter rejecting and dead-naming B-san. A-san, who claims to have been subjected to power harassment in their 7 years working at the company, also remarked with dismay. The company's attitude was already clearly unfair and cruel, but I can't believe that they would go this far. I didn't think that they would say such a thing. A-san claims to have been dismissed as a unit director after an altercation with an animation director. According to them, Toei had used a culture of overwork, and they had even been told by senior staffers to use animation directors like worker bees. The animation director was frustrated at an instruction that A-san had issued, prompting them to angrily berate A-san in the staff room. Although A-san managed to reach a compromise with the animation director at the time, a few days later they were told that they would be dropped as a unit director while the animation director would stay on. They were also continuously shuffled around at jobs so that they would feel pressured to quit. Asan attempted to consult with the Toei Animation labor union, but felt that the union had ties with the company that were too strong, which made discussions go nowhere. Asan was transferred to a separate building from the main studio and demoted even further to clerical work. It was a stereotypical odai shibeya, they said, using the colloquial term for a room where employees are sent to do pointless tasks so that they quit on their own accord. Asan eventually managed to return to work as an assistant unit director, but rumors had apparently spread about them in the studio. Asan was told by a third party that they had received an email from a senior staff member telling everyone not to let Asan ever become a unit director. Asan said that they had never expected the issue to snowball to such a degree. Even after consulting with an outsider labor union, they said that they simply wanted to return to work. "I always admired Toei Animation," they said. "I've received valuable advice from the directors who have come out of Toei, and I'd always had a good impression of the studio. But when I finally joined the company, it had such an oppressive atmosphere. I am disappointed that the situation has worsened to such a degree." They say that they are currently still working at Toei, but without any friends to openly support them on the inside. They now harbor disillusioned feelings about the studio. Bisan also expressed their disappointment at the studio, which has become iconic for its children's stories and uplifting and progressive messaging. Toei Animation's Precure series sends a message filled with hope when it comes to gender expression. Its influence is felt not just in Japan, but across the world. I am deeply disappointed that it is this company that has performed such an injustice. And the union did start a change.org petition, which I have signed and also shared. And the main thing that I guess I can really encourage you guys to do from this video is to sign that petition and to tweet about this and just spread the word in any way you can at Toei Animation, at their Japanese Twitter and their Western, like English-speaking Twitter, because it's really frustrating feeling like, okay, now what can I do? Because usually whenever something is problematic or it really conflicts with my morals and I have to cut ties, I can vote with my dollar in a way and be like, okay, I'm not gonna support them with my money and I'm no longer going to like buy this and I'm going to unsubscribe from that. My whole life, I have been trying to find ways that I can literally watch Precure and like give money to Toei for it. And that has only just recently become like a legitimate thing with Crunchyroll last year having Precure on it, and I just don't think canceling my Crunchyroll subscription is an effective way at all to combat this. So in a situation where it is my absolute favorite #1 obsession that has carried me through my life, and also one of the most important issues that I extremely want to stand up for and fight for and not be quiet about as trans rights and LGBT rights. I really think it's important that we make a ruckus about this, that we sign that petition, that we share that petition. And although it's really hard to kind of hate them on their bottom line, I don't think many people have been inclined to boycott the entire studio and every anime that has ever come out from it. Like, I am going to continue consuming Precure content through my Crunchyroll subscription, and it's just an extra kick in the stomach because honestly, most people in like the Precure Twitter and YouTube sphere are LGBT in some capacity. It's just so awful and hurtful to hear this news, and I'm so extremely sorry and devastated to Bisan and Asan in this situation. And there is a little update on this article I just noticed that says that Toei Animation has denied any engagement in discriminatory acts. So, I mean, of course they would. I don't really know if there's much to discuss about the actual situation, like the actual act that has happened. I don't know, from my perspective, it really seems clear-cut like discrimination. I never for a second really doubted it or was on Toei's side. And obviously, I've been on Toei's side my whole life up until this point. I think we all kind of dread and are fearful maybe of the day that our favorite thing, maybe that thing you have tattooed, or your very favorite band, or your very favorite actor will be like exposed as something horrible that you don't support. And obviously this is an aspect, this is an element, this isn't everyone at Toei Animation, this isn't the people that have written the episodes with Cure Anthony, this is probably not the people that have written the arc between Akira and Yuki-kairi. Like, I think there's definitely good people there, but definitely the work culture and just the social culture in Japan is obviously so completely different than here, especially the work ethic, and I think there's a pressure, and I really don't want to speak out of my, like, realm, but from my impression there is more of a pressure to kind of just stay in your lane and don't cause a scene and don't, you know, ruffle anyone's feathers and just be quiet and don't speak up about it. So, hey, I'm here to ruffle some feathers and be loud because I'm not afraid of losing my job at Toei Animation because I don't work there. I just have so many wonderful trans people in my life that I adore and support, and I'm just so excited and giddy to be friends and be able to support someone along a journey that is so exciting and see them blossom into a truer, more authentic version of themselves. And I think that that's just such a fucking gift. The beautiful sun rays that are occurring as I give this speech. So it's extremely, extremely heartbreaking and hurtful to think that another thing that I've based, okay, embarrassing, but I've based a lot of my morals off of Precure. So to think that maybe there's people on the inside that clash so severely with my morals and my ethics and how I live my life, that's just something that I can't be quiet about. So if this riles you up, I hope you go to Twitter with it. I hope you sign that petition. I'm gonna put it pretty much first thing or very high up in the description. I think that and like adding and tagging Toei Animation is probably the best thing we can do right now, because a lot of the money that they make is also within Japan with merch and movies and tickets and, you know, like billboards and buses and all the Toys R Us stuff. So I'm just thinking about how we can actually actively maybe make a difference and maybe be like, hey, when maybe, you know, the bottom line is not as accessible this time. Thank you guys so much for being here for this video and for listening to me rant and ramble and also read a lot. I hope that this informed you about a situation that made you feel a way. I'm definitely not gonna throw out all my Precure stuff, but I definitely am going to continue talking about this, continue driving this home, and just do everything we can. I have such a like severe drive to want to act, and it's just, I'm a little lady in my bedroom, but a little lady in my bedroom with a YouTube channel where I can talk about it. So this is me doing my part, doing my piece. This video's Feature Confetti Club member is Henry Jetta on Instagram, who did this. Okay, I saw this on the couch yesterday and I was like, Stevie, look, it is a felt illustration of my little profile, and there's little strawberries falling delicately ever so, and I love this so much. It's so creative. I've never seen anything like this. It's so sweet. I love the big blushy and the piercings and the rainbows from Norway. Ooh, hi, hello over there. That sounds like a wonderful place. Thank you so much for doing this and sharing it with me. So amazing. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video, which is not this one because this one's over.